This video is not a personal attack on Tyler from Valve News Network. It is simply a critique of his style of reporting the news and how I think it's harmful. It may also serve as advice for anyone who wants to be a news channel as well. If Tyler's watching this, please don't take it personally. I'm not hating on you, I'm just criticizing your videos. Out of all the companies to report on, Tyler did the biggest mistake he could have ever made and picked Valve. At least with Ubisoft or EA you have something to talk about, mostly about how they're messing up again. But with Valve doesn't really do anything. They have Steam making all the money for them, so the rest of the time they just mess around with VR and lately a bit of Artifact, as well as a couple of updates for CSGO, Dota and TF2, if they can be bothered that is. Aside from that, we all know just how little Valve communicates. We'll just get a blog post now and then if we're lucky. But if we're not, it can be months, sometimes even years with no word from them whatsoever. So what do you do if there's nothing to report on and not much to talk about? You speculate, of course. You start to analyze what's already in front of you and interpret the facts in ways that seem logical to you. No, there's nothing inherently wrong with that. I speculate all the time as well, we all do. But there's a problem when someone like Tyler from Valve News Network does it. Because what separates me from VNN is that unlike him, I'm not a news channel. If I want to make a video speculating about possible future updates or what this unused texture in the game's files could mean, I can do that. Other people can do the same. Valve News Network, as the name implies, reports news however. Speculation, on the other hand, isn't news. News need to be factual and neutral. Reporters shouldn't talk about things they can't be certain of aren't actually real or confirmed. There was this one joke on South Park where one of the news reporters says there's been reports of looting, raping and cannibalism. When asked if he actually saw it, the guy just says no, he didn't see it, he's just reporting it. And that is sort of what's happening with Valve News Network as well. Not to the same extent, of course. However, Tyler does speculate a lot. In fact, back before people called him out on it, he didn't even distinguish his speculation from actual news in his videos. He just talked about this one leaked file and then says how that might mean there's a new Valve game planned, even though there's no good evidence for that. Nowadays, he at least puts up a disclaimer for when he's speculating. However, I don't think he should speculate at all. Instead, the only thing that Valve News Network should be known for is relaying confirmed information as accurate as possible. I also think he should be incredibly careful of when and where he speculates, and that he shouldn't even do it while streaming. From what I've heard, Tyler has a habit of reading emails he gets from Valve employees or other sources on stream. If that is true, then that's pretty dangerous. Imagine if reporters reported everything the second they heard about it. The president's been shot! No, actually he just fell down the stairs! No, wait, his dog fell down the stairs and he just has a headache! Hold on, he doesn't have a dog nor a headache! I bet that some news reporters do that, but are they reputable? Can people take them seriously? I highly doubt it. I don't know for a fact that Tyler does in fact do these things, just that I heard about it. However, as I've stated before, I'm not a news channel. I'm not accusing him of doing that, I'm just saying that if he does it, then he needs to stop. He really needs to take his time with what he wants to report on. And I do mean report on and not just speculate about. At this point, you're likely asking what the big deal with speculating is. I know that it may not sound bad, but there's very good reasons why he shouldn't speculate. Like for example, each time that Tyler speculates about something, that is what people are going to take away from his videos and not just the actual news. And because humans aren't exactly the best at remembering things, both speculation and news are going to mesh together in their minds after a while. They might think it's the truth and also treat it as such. And of course, the viewers of Valve News Network will then go on to tell other people about what they've heard. The problem is, however, that it's a lot easier to say TF2 might be getting a Source 2 port than saying there have been rumors of a Source 2 port for TF2, however it doesn't seem likely it will be happening anytime soon. So people are gonna do just that and other people might believe them even though they really shouldn't. These speculations become even more harmful when he refers to them as predictions.
First, to any who has seen my last Team Fortress 2 video, I have been predicting June for the release of the next major Pyro update.
That way, the line between what is and isn't going to happen becomes even more blurred. Prediction implies there's a lot of evidence supporting the theory. Weather predictions, while not 100% accurate, are still somewhat grounded. But just saying, yeah, it might be possible, therefore it'll happen, is not prediction. Tyler is in a position of conveying information to the public with his channel. People come to him because they want the news, and they should be able to expect accurate reports of this news. Some people just don't have the time to check up on everything he talks about, because they use their lunch break to watch one of his videos to catch up on TF2 or whatever, and then they go back to work or school. I think that's even the main reason why Valve News Network is so popular, because it bundles all the news together in quick, simple videos that anyone can watch easily at any time. So people have to rely on Tyler, and they also have to be sure that he does his job correctly. This misinformation and confusion leads to an even bigger problem, however. A lot of Tyler's speculations are, simply put, false. But how could they be correct if they have barely any basis or evidence supporting them? Because what Tyler does very often is over-speculate. Even though I said speculations aren't exactly what he should be doing, they can at least still be understandable to an extent. If someone found unused weapon models and their animations in TF2's code, it wouldn't be unreasonable to assume they're going to be eventually used. However, this is not what Tyler does a lot of the time. More often than would be healthy, he makes assumptions that aren't even very likely to happen. If you don't believe me, I've compiled a small list of all the speculations that turn out to be spectacularly wrong.
Speculation, we're getting another taunt case this update.
Nope.
Speculation. It's an animal sanctuary or research center that Saxton Hale owns or operates. Saxton Hale didn't actually kill the last of the Yetis. He kept one or two and brought them back to YTI Park.
Heck yes!
Where it escaped, and now the TF2 team has to be able to fight it. That's the boss.
Nope.
And also, it seems as though Team Fortress 2 is going to be getting this update fairly soon, probably this month. June 2017, here we go. The biggest update to Team Fortress 2 we have ever seen. And I personally feel like I need to get this video done as soon as possible, because the Pyro update is probably going to be out within the next couple of days. Things are happening very quickly.
Nope.
The worst offender in my opinion is what I've been mentioning throughout the video, namely that TF2 might be getting a Source 2 update. That wasn't even all Tyler was speculating, however. What he said was that the reason the Pyro update took so long was because the TF2 was working in a new engine, namely Source 2.
What could the team possibly do to justify this historical gap? Well,
yeah, so Source 2, which is in CSGO's future, and probably every Valve's product.
it's possible that the fact Team Fortress 2 received between 4 and 6 total bug fix patches, depending on what your view on a bug fix patch is, means the team is working in a different engine.
I can sort of see where he's coming from. However, if you think about this for a while, it becomes very apparent just how outlandish that speculation is. Yes, it is possible that the reason for why the update took so long was because they were working in Source 2. It is also possible that a bowl of petunias will burst from a window, being followed by a huge whale. That doesn't mean it will actually happen, however. There wasn't anything pointing in the direction of what Tyler was assuming. There wasn't even any proof for any of it. If someone spends any time concerning themselves with the development of TF2, they would know just how little and overworked the TF team really is. It has maybe around 5 developers, though the reason for why the update took so long was very likely just because they just didn't have the manpower.
Direct code writers?
Yeah.
5 or 6?
5 or 6?
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
They even stated before that they would love to port TF2 to Source 2, but they just can't because they don't have enough people for that.
Pazer asked about porting Team Fortress 2 to Source 2, which Jill responded that it would be nice, but the amount of work that would take would require much more manpower than the TF team currently possesses by far.
And Tyler should know this because he reports on TF2 all the time. But immediately jumping to conclusions and making these incredibly unlikely assumptions is very unprofessional in my opinion. When people hear something like TF2 might be getting a Source 2 port, or it seems the Pyro update is happening in June, it creates one thing: hype. Valve already has a huge problem with creating hype due to never communicating and leaving people in the dark. That in return means that fans have to come up with their own theories of what might happen, as well as hyping anything that is confirmed. When they hear that Valve is announcing something at E3, it's gotta be Half-Life 3. Valve could easily suppress this hype by simply communicating more, but in the meantime, people are forced to overanalyze everything they can find. This is a problem because a lot of things simply can't live up to all the hype. Depending on how big it is, it's also absolutely impossible to live up to it. Remember what happened with End of the Line? When everyone hyped it and then it just turned out to be alright? When people hype something, they keep expecting more and more things, and when these expectations aren't met, it results in disappointment. As I've said before, Tyler speculates a lot. By doing so, he creates hype, because people will listen to his speculations and go, hey, wait a minute, I didn't even consider that, and then look too deep into what they know. I also suspect that when people already speculated themselves, and then find out that Valve News Network shares those views, it might reassure their beliefs, whether they're valid or not. If one person has an idea, big deal. If 2 people share the same idea, now hold on a second, they gotta be onto something. Not that it's logical or anything, it just feels right. So with all his speculations, and especially over speculations, Tyler creates some immense hype. There's no reason for anyone to expect Source 2 for TF2, but thanks to him, some people did. Let's also not forget that disappointment can result in frustration, which in return results in anger. And people might let that anger out on the person who keeps quote-unquote predicting all these things which never actually happen. I'm not saying that people are gonna beat up Tyler in an alleyway, but they might badmouth him and eventually even unsubscribe if he keeps going like this. To add to this, things like clickbaity titles or thumbnails also create hype. Thankfully though, Tyler doesn't really do this. However, other YouTubers do, and it's a big problem. The same person who doesn't have the time to watch videos quickly glances over the thumbnail and reads something like upcoming Half-Life game before going back to work. And that's all they can remember until they get around to actually watching the video. Even though the video was just talking about how a new Half-Life game wasn't actually in development and the title just lied. Anyway, it isn't even necessary for Tyler to create all these speculations and quote-unquote predictions, because Tyler doesn't even need to speculate, no one is forcing him. Yes, I know it gets a lot of attention and in return views and money. That doesn't justify the downsides, however. His viewers don't need him for speculations, they can do it themselves. All VNN has to do is deliver the information so that people can look at it and then base their opinions off of it. And of course Tyler can have his own opinions about that information as well, but he shouldn't talk about them so publicly, especially not while he's reporting it. He also needs to really watch out with what he says in general. Valve News Network represents Valve's news, and in extension, Tyler represents his channel, no matter where he is. When people hear the name Valve News Network, they expect whatever is being said to be correct. As a result of that, when he decides to ramble about speculations while streaming or while on Twitter, people might believe him. Even if he makes it very clear that he is not in fact being factual, and even if he wants to just mess around, that is not necessarily what will come across. Tyler needs to realize what kind of power he possesses and which responsibilities that power carries. If he wants to not be a news reporter for once and just speculate and ramble about what is on his mind, then he can still do that. But then he shouldn't be using his YouTube channel, his Twitch or even his Twitter for that. Because all of those are associated with him and even contain the Valve News Network name and logo. Instead, he should just create new accounts to talk about his own opinions. Sure, it still might confuse people, but a lot of the blame will have been lifted from Tyler at least. Another problem with Valve News Network lies in how Tyler reports the news. At times, he doesn't check his sources nearly enough and relays incorrect information. One very obvious example was when he said that the sexy winners of last year were given the chance to play Valve's new jungle map.
The Team Fortress team invited out many Team Fortress creators to their offices for lunch and to show off some features to the next Team Fortress 2 update. And it later became known that all of these people were actually from the winner of last year's Saxy Awards. Thunder Mountain was not the actual map being played. Instead, it was a Thunder Mountain-like map, being the jungle map teased back in October.
He did correct himself on that later on after having emailed one of TF2's devs.
Also, I talked about in my last video how the TF team showed off the jungle map to the Saxy winners. Well, I emailed Dave Ruller and that's not the case. Some of the Saxy winners actually told me incorrect information just to see if I'd put it in a video. Once again, Tyler McVicker is an ugly idiot.
However, he should have checked it more thoroughly beforehand. For a news channel, making sure that all information is accurate and correct is one of, if not the most important part. Otherwise, it just turns into speculation again, or it shows a lack of interest or respect for the subject matter. It also makes people trust you less, because they seemingly can't rely on you all the time. What Tyler needs to do is be certain that whatever he says is true, and if that means he has to wait a day or two longer to confirm it, so be it. Yes, it might not be beneficial to his YouTube channel as he needs to release these videos very quickly. However, if he wants to be reputable, he can't complain about having to also check the facts. To summarize everything, here is what Tyler from Valve News Network should be doing. He should stay factual and neutral and report accurate, confirmed information with evidence supporting it. He should not speculate or exaggerate in any form, especially not on accounts associated with Valve News Network. If he wants to speak his mind, he should do that either in private or using unrelated accounts. All of that should help avoid confusion and misinformation, as well as preventing any unnecessary hype by the community. If you want an example of how to report news correctly, look no further than Valve Time. Valve Time doesn't report on just Valve, but also the community. However, they still do a pretty great job. Literally all they're doing is relaying all news they can find, with a short summary and even citing the sources. That's it. There is no speculation or personal opinion or anything that isn't factual. This is how it should be done. Now, does that mean that Tyler can't be silly in his videos anymore or even do jokes or memes? No, of course not. By all means, he should make his videos as lighthearted as he likes. As long as it doesn't distract from the actual news and it doesn't lead to speculation or misinformation. He just needs to be a bit more careful. Being a news channel on YouTube is not an easy thing to do. It is just not as simple as being some dumb commentary channel like myself. Tyler has chosen this path and he needs to deal with his responsibilities. If he does that, then he can be a very well respected channel. However, should he continue like this, people might start to go to other, better channels eventually, once they take reporting these things a little more seriously than Tyler does at the moment. Anyway, that is pretty much it for this video. I want to thank you very much for watching. If Tyler did watch this, I do hope I could make myself clear and help a little bit. I would also like to thank my Patreon backers very much, especially LECT Kane. I am very sorry if I mispronounced that name. Right now I don't have as many backers, but I do very much appreciate their support. If you would like to support me as well, just visit my Patreon. If you don't, that's also fine, of course. If you just watch my videos and perhaps even subscribe to my channel, that's awesome already. I also want to adjust my reward tiers on Patreon a little bit, so feedback is much appreciated. Anyway, have a wonderful day and goodbye.